Hey Todd,
Wads, what's going on, buddy?
not much. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, I'm super excited to do it. How have
Uh,
things? You're teaching at BCIT still, right?
yeah, I'm still there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like into my eighth year, maybe ninth year now. So yeah,
Nice.
into my 11th year podcasting, dude. It's like insane. Literally thought I was going to do this for like under a year and like wrap it up.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's sick.
Yeah. But you've been at it for a long time as well with the Canucks Conversation podcast, of course. That's like into years as well, right? Like,
Yeah, we're in year. Well, I've been at Nation Network for 5 years now, and the
yeah,
podcasts. I think we've been doing that for either 5 or 6.
right.
So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty deadly. So what's the deal with you? Like Canucks Army managing editor, editor in chief at the Nation HQ. You've got the Canucks Conversation podcast. Like, do you not like free time?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I manage it pretty well. I mean, I do my best. I live for the off season is what I like to say. Like
Yeah.
right now, yeah, the work days are long, but it's covering hockey, it's doing what I like doing, and then the off season is like I love the off season so much.
Yeah. And did you grow up in Vancouver?
North Burnaby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your first sports memory then?
Oh man. Um Probably wow, that's a great question. Like I really remember the 2011 Cup final. Like I
Yeah.
can't I can't pretend like I that wasn't a big one. Um
Well, with a guy your age, I was going to say kid, but a guy your age, surely like the Olympics and the riots and all that, that has to be a big part of like when
Well,
you
yeah,
think
I
back
guess
to
the
your,
the Olympics happened sooner than the Cup final, so probably the Olympics. And you know what? No, as you're making me recall it a bit, it's actually the 2009 World Series. That
oh,
was
okay.
that was probably my first sports memory.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're a fan, of course, like beyond hockey, like we know that you're a hockey guy, but like you like sport in general, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm a big baseball fan. Really, really like baseball.
Yeah. What do you remember about the 2009?
Well, I mean, my dad was a huge fan, and I mean, like, I've always been a big baseball fan, and like I played baseball growing up, and I mean, like, my dad was a Yankees fan growing up, and he didn't really watch much other baseball. He just watched the playoffs. So then when
Hmm.
the Yankees were in the World Series, we were like, okay, we're watching this, and like my dad told me, he's like, hey, this closer, Mariano Rivera, like he's the greatest closer that's you're ever gonna see in your life. And I mean, that's still true today. I don't think that's ever going to change.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember him specifically closing out games and again coming out to enter Sandman. Again, I was 9 years old, but I definitely remember it. Like that was that. Yeah, now that you make me recall it, like that was probably my first sports memory.
That's cool. And so, but hockey's number one. And then so hockey one, baseball two,
Yeah.
football three.
I'm not a big football guy. I've tried, like I've tried. I honestly I should just say baseball and hockey, and then I will watch football. So yes, I guess
Sure.
it's number three. But
How's your
uh,
golf game? All sports guys have one.
I'm okay at golf. I like golfing. I tried
You
to
like
watch this.
drinking beers with your buddies. Come
Yeah,
on.
that's right. I've tried to watch this TGL thing, and it's just
Yeah, I wanted
it's
to bring that up. Yeah, what'd you think of all that?
it's cool. Like
Yeah,
it's just cool seeing Tiger Woods like walk out. And I mean, it's probably the thing that I was talking about with my grandpa when we were watching it was like it's probably easier on these guys' bodies to like not walk the whole course and all that sort of stuff. Like it's
totally.
probably easier
Oh, it has to
on their
be.
bodies. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's like part of the exercise, quote unquote exercise of golf is
Yeah.
the actual walk. Like if you're in a cart, not really too much to a swing. Like in a
Yeah, and I
putt.
mean like
Yeah,
temperature controlled room in an arena, you know what I mean? Like it seems like
yeah,
it's probably better, which is why probably like a guy like Tiger is able to do it and
yeah,
like look competitive.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's get to the trades then. Who got the better of the trades, do you think, when it comes to JT Miller? Was it the Canucks, the Rangers, Pittsburgh?
I mean, I think everybody's happy with what they got. Pittsburgh's in this kind of weird little retool rebuild. They really like prospects over draft picks, so like that's why they got Melvin Fernstrom from the Canucks in the trade rather than maybe another pick. But
Right.
um I think the Canucks are very happy with what they got out of it. And again, with the context of the team made it public and they knew, the whole league knew that they had to get rid of JT Miller. Like the team just made it known that this guy is not going to fit in our locker room. We have to get rid of him.
Mhm.
When you take in that context, I think the Canucks did fine in these trades. And I mean, I know it's a small sample size, but I think they're really happy with what they've got from Philip Hedl. They're really happy with what they have from Marcus Pettersson so far, who they're looking to extend right now. And obviously, Pettersson was flipped with the pick that they got in the Miller trade. So I think the Canucks come away with it, and they're pretty happy with what they have. Miller's been putting up points for the Rangers, and the Rangers are going for it. So they're happy about it too. I think everybody's a winner in their own way in this one. I think if you're a Canucks fan, I know losing JT Miller probably sucks, but when you
Sucks,
take
but
in the
whatever.
context,
Yeah.
exactly, when you take in the context of like what it actually meant for the team to decide, yeah, we have to get rid of this guy, then like I think they did okay. I think they're happy with that trade.
Right. And what did you make of Frank Saravelli, who is like the president, I think, of the Daily Face-Off? He does some contributions to Sportsnet and stuff, and he was saying that it was his understanding that a lot of Vancouver Canuck players were upset about the trade and that they traded the wrong guy. You heard about that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if like again, I haven't heard the quote from Frank, but yeah, I can't really speak on that because I haven't heard that from anybody or anything like that. But
Mm.
I mean, I feel like the team, as long as they asked Quinn Hughes what he thought before they did stuff, quite frankly, and I know this sounds a little harsh, I don't really care what anyone else on the team thinks. I think Quinn Hughes is your number one player that you need to be worried about keeping here. So as long as they ask Quinn Hughes what he thinks and Quinn Hughes is happy, I don't think anybody should care what I don't know what Kiefer Sherwood thinks.
Yeah, no offense to Sherwood, but yeah, no, I totally agree. Like when they're starting to write about like Orr and like Paul Coffey's in the conversation, and like
Exactly.
he's our guy. Like he's
Yeah,
our guy.
exactly. And I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like you look up and down the lineup, and I mean, like I really like Connor Garland, really like Tyler Myers, but
Love
quite
Connor
frankly,
Garland. He might be my
absolutely,
favorite player.
absolutely, and they're great dudes. They're both great guys, and
Yeah,
I, I don't
Bud
care what
Hughes.
they think about the trade. I don't care what they think about the trade. I really, really don't. I don't want their opinion. Quinn Hughes is the only voice that matters in my mind.
That's great. And so, are the Canucks a Cup contender? Or I guess a better question is, will they make the playoffs?
I think this helps them make the playoffs. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, they're pacing with the Calgary Flames. It's funny. Right before I joined here, I was prepping for my show later today, and I was looking at the Flames and the Canucks, and obviously they have the exact same number of points in the standings. They got the same number of regulation wins, regulation plus overtime wins. They've got all of the same numbers in many ways. And if there wasn't an empty net goal from Drew O'Connor in last night's game against the Avalanche, they would have the exact same goal differential, like exact same at
Crazy.
minus 14, I think it is, or minus 13. They'd be the exact same at minus 13 goal differential on the season. So these two teams are neck and neck right now. The Flames made moves of their own when they went out and got Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, but I think this helps the Canucks get to that playoff spot. Are they Cup contenders? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to take some bigger moves in the offseason to get that done. But I know they're trying to get back there because, quite frankly, they thought they were there when they entered this season.
Why do I fucking hate the Flames so much? Like, are they the most hated team for you? They might be for me. It's that them or Boston, of course.
I feel like Edmonton's taken the cake really recently,
Ooh,
right? Like you've got the playoff series, you know what I mean, and that you've got
especially that game where McDavid was it,
yeah,
it
the
was
cross
Garland,
check
wasn't it?
from
Yeah.
Zadorov and Susie. It was like I think Zadorov or no, Susie chopped him down or no, Zadorov chopped him down from behind and then Susie followed through in his face by accident. Uh,
Yeah.
by accident.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, like there's real bad blood between the two teams there. You've got antagonists on that side. You got Corey Perry, Darnell Nurse, obviously. That's a spirited rivalry. I think that one takes the cake for me. And I mean, like we
Yeah.
haven't seen a playoff series that got that intense. I don't think in the sport in a while, but that one was really intense right up to Game 7.
I love it. That's a great answer. And just out of curiosity, what's your favorite sport to play?
Baseball, baseball for
Baseball.
sure. Yeah.
You played it a ton as a kid. Like, what do you play? What's your
Yeah,
position?
when I was a kid, I started at shortstop, then I kind of moved to the outfield, then I played second, then I pitched, then I played catcher. I really played everywhere except for first base. That was like the only position I could never really do.
Huh.
There was always more qualified people to play first base than me on the team, but yeah, I really like pitching. I mean, I still play, like I play men's league and I really enjoy it. So
Hmm.
yeah, like pitcher, second base, outfield is probably what I've morphed into now.
That's cool. Quads, let's get outside of sport and what you're known for and stuff. And I'm curious about the music in your life. Like, what's in the Quadrelli house as a kid growing up? What are your parents playing?
Rock 101 nonstop
Okay.
was the radio
Some
station.
classic rock, yeah, for
Yeah,
people that
yeah,
aren't from Van, yeah.
yeah, really, really big into classic rock. Now like I was doing my Spotify rap, and now I've got my fiance, and she picks the music in the car often because I listen to everything. So there's a lot of Taylor Swift on my Spotify rap. There was a lot of Tate McRae was on there. Who else? And then
Okay.
I listen to like DMX when I'm in the gym. So it. People always laugh at my Wrapped, my Apple Music replay and everything because it's like
It's all over the
Taylor
map.
Swift, it's DMX, and then it's like the Strokes, it's the Rolling Stones, whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
kind of all over the place.
yeah, but music's a big part of your life too, right?
Yeah, like I work
Yeah,
with it.
sure.
It really helps me focus. And like I listen to that's the other thing. I listen to a lot of like smooth jazz and instrumental as well, just when
Oh,
I'm
no
like
way.
reading. Yeah, when I'm writing, like that's all I can listen to. If I listen to anything with lyrics, I just can't focus. Like I can't
Oh,
read, I can't write if I have anything with lyrics. So it's like, there's the piano chill playlist on Apple Music that I listen to a lot.
okay.
Um, there's like a reading playlist on Apple Music. I listen to those a lot when I'm working.
Oh, that's trippy. And what was your first concert you went to?
Well, other than like the Wiggles,
Yeah, of course.
in fact, it was probably the Killers, which was
Oh,
only like a year or two ago. Like I
oh,
didn't
no
go to
way.
many concerts growing up. Like I said,
Really?
I think I went to the Wiggles when I was like 5 or 6, and then I went to the Killers a few years ago, and I loved it. It was so much fun. But I've just never been a big concert guy. I'm really
Huh?
big into stand up comedy. Like I try to go to the Vogue and watch stand up comedy. I just watched Shane Gillis was in town. He was
He
fantastic.
he kills,
Um,
eh?
Oh, he's so funny. And
Yeah.
even his openers were all so funny. Like it
Oh,
was
that's
great.
great. Yeah,
Yeah, it was really
Shane
good.
Gillis does a great Trump, man. Like if people haven't, just kind of gone down that rabbit hole on YouTube, like
Yeah.
he's a funny kid, man.
Yeah, it's like you can like close your eyes, and I did this at the show last week. You can like close your eyes and you swear it's the actual US president in front of you. Like it's unreal how good
Yeah.
his impression
And,
is.
and
It's
what
so
was it?
good.
Why did he get fired from SNL again? It
I
was like
actually don't know. He did some skit show,
I
and I think and yeah, I don't know the actual reason. I don't know.
I think that it was like just kind of like off-colored humor and stuff, and like they were like, and Lauren Michaels is like, dude, like we
Yeah, I
gotta
mean
fire you now, right? Like you know
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
Anyway, what are you binge watching lately?
I mean, I just finished Squid Game season 2. I
Yeah,
really, really enjoyed that. Here's the thing. I watch a lot of stuff that I'm comfortable with, like stuff I've already watched. I rewatch series. So I've watched The
sure.
Office at least like 4 times. Right now I'm doing another watch through of Modern Family. Um,
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
binge, like I don't binge watch much, but I did watch 4 games of Squid Game or excuse me, 4 episodes of Squid Game in a row like last week. So
Right.
that's like the closest
Which
I've
is
come to binge
like
watching
damn
anything
near
in years.
that's like 2 and a bit hours. Like they're
Yes.
40 minutes each or whatever it is,
Yeah.
maybe more
Yeah.
than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Did you get into the Mr. Beast? My kids love Mr. Beast, so
I watched the first 2 episodes and I don't know,
it's
like I'm not super
intriguing.
big into those, into the big
It,
like competition games. You know what I
okay.
mean? But
But dude,
I
like the
did like
mind
them
the
when I was
mind
younger.
games that guy, because of course he's got so much money, like fuck, it's like
Yeah.
he's throwing around so much money right out of the gate. You're just like, what the hell,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, totally.
But super intriguing, man. The way people act and react to money and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's interesting because I watched his YouTube channel. Like I have watched his YouTube channel. I just didn't watch
Yeah.
the Prime show. Like I watched the first 2 episodes of that, but like yeah, his YouTube channel. I like stuff when he throws people in the wilderness and stuff. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, same. Are you a big fan of all the superhero movies and stuff?
No, honestly, no.
You
I
don't
was
like
when I was
that?
a kid.
I was
What
curious about that.
I'll give you my explanation, okay? Once Endgame came out, that was my endgame to like superhero movies, and the only ones I'll watch now is just Spider-Man. I'll watch Spider-Man. I really like the Batman, so I'll say that. But like, if you're asking me Marvel specifically, no, I don't even care. I don't watch it anymore. I
Yeah.
won't watch it.
Was it just
Um,
because Endgame was just so like massive and like it's a
Endgame
great way
was
to end
so
it?
good, and then I
Yeah.
started thinking about going to the movies, and my friend was like, "Okay, well, you need to watch this entire Disney Plus series for it to make sense." And
You're
I'm
like,
like,
no.
"Okay, then I won't do it, and I won't care. It's okay, I won't watch it anymore." But like, I really liked the Batman. I really liked the first Joker movie. Never been a big DC guy, but I really liked Robert Pattinson's Batman. And you know what's funny? I'll tell you this: I watched the Robert Pattinson Batman before I watched The Dark Knight. I recently watched the Dark Knight trilogy and I really enjoyed it, but I watched the Robert Pattinson Batman before I watched the Dark Knight.
He did a great job. Like he was getting
Did.
some pretty thick heat online for, taking the role and he's going to fuck it up and all that. Like
Yeah, and he did a
he
great
didn't at
job.
all.
He did a great job.
So
Yeah.
is he your favorite Batman?
No, no,
Who-
Christian Bale's so
Christian
good.
Bale.
Yeah,
He's
he's
got to be
so
Christian Bale.
good. Like it's so good. And that's the funny thing is because I went to the Batman, I was like, oh my gosh, I loved that. And then my fiance was like, well, you need to watch the Dark Knight trilogy. So we watched it right from the start, and
Yeah.
yeah, like you can't really beat Christian Bale.
No, no. Of course you have rad jobs now, but what's the worst job you've ever had?
I don't even call it the worst job. Well, yeah, I don't know. I
You're
did
like immediately
umpiring.
thinking of something though, man.
Yeah, I have two things. I have two things. I'll give you two. So I did umpiring for baseball when I was a kid, and I enjoyed it. But like you
Yeah.
always
The
have the dumb
parents
parents. Yeah,
chirping off and
always.
shit, just
Yeah.
like,
So I
shut
was like,
up, man.
this isn't worth it. So I don't umpire anymore.
Yeah.
But then I worked construction the summer of grade 11. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go be a laborer. It was actually my high school that I was attending was getting torn down and rebuilt. So I got to be part of the teardown of my high school. And then by the time it was rebuilt, I had graduated. So I spent 1 year in like a half torn down school that I helped tear down. And then I
Okay.
graduated and it was over. But I I would probably say that was the worst, but I did it for 2 months, and I have a lot of respect for people that do that for their career because
I
I
know.
did it for 2 months and I was like, okay, I made great money, which was awesome, especially at that age. Like I made better money than all of my friends at that age. But then I was like, okay, I never want to do this. So like I
Yeah,
better
but
figure
you're
something
also
out.
sore for the entire summer. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I was like, I don't ever want to do this again. So I need to figure something out. So yeah,
yeah,
glad it worked out.
yeah. Quads, just a couple more questions and I'll let you run here. And thank you again for doing this. Who's the most famous person that you've met?
Oh, geez. I mean, other than Jim Rutherford, I'll try not to say a hockey player or
Oh, but I
yeah.
like that too.
It probably would have to be, unfortunately. Like I think it would have to be. I'll scroll through my contacts.
Okay.
Um
Like,
I
have you met
think
any of like the big ones, like Sid or like
Oh
Ovi
yeah.
or?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I mean I've interviewed and that was on my bucket list last year was interviewing Sidney Crosby, and I got to do that, and that was a really really cool moment for me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, actually, I've never met Ovi, never have crossed paths with him. But when Pittsburgh was in town, I managed to get a word in with Crosby, which is like a bucket list item of mine. So
Crazy.
probably him. But again, like I like he doesn't know who I am, so it's not. I wouldn't count that as like oh I met him. Like I crossed paths with him, I asked him a question, but like he wouldn't be able to pick me out of a crowd. But person
Yeah.
like I actually know, like probably Jim Rutherford, just hockey Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
everything. So I'd probably go with him, Jim Rutherford.
Yeah. And what would you say is your career highlight?
Oh, I mean, other than interviewing Sidney Crosby,
Yeah, it's got to be up there.
yeah, it is up there. Yeah, career highlight. I mean, it's so interesting because like what would I put on my highlight reel? Like I would put the Botchford Project night that I got when I was 19, which was my first time in the Rogers Arena press box. That was a night that like I was still a BCIT student at the time. It was a night that got me a lot of mentorship from a lot of different people. And it really, really helped me to kind of just kickstart my career. So I'd probably say that, like, that's probably my career highlight because, again, I never got to meet Jason Botchford, but I was really heavily influenced by his work. Like, he was the reason that I even thought of writing about the Canucks and why I thought it would be a cool career to have.
Mhm.
So I'd say that probably the Botchford Project night because again I got to meet his widow Kat and talk to her quite a bit. Still keep in touch with her.
Mm.
So I'd say that. Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, Botch was the best. Okay, last question. It's not really a question, it's a story. Tell us a story where you're like, holy shit, I could have just died there.
Hmm. Like at work?
Not at work, anytime. Like a near-death story where you're like just a brush with.
Hmm. Oh, that's a
Or
good
maybe you don't have
question.
one.
I don't know if I have one, but
Oh,
I
it would
gotta
be
think of
coming to
one.
you. Dude, if you had one, you wouldn't be like, let
Yeah,
me
I
just
don't.
go through the
I really
memory
don't. I
banks here.
really don't think I have one. No, I
No.
don't have one. No.
Yeah, occasionally I run into that. Not very often. I bet you
I
it's
wish I
maybe
did. I wish I did. It's been a
maybe it's
safe
like
life.
one or 2%, 3% of the population. Almost everybody's like, oh, dude, I had this one thing, and like blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah, no, no,
yeah,
no, never,
fair
never.
enough. Well, I'm gonna knock wood for you, buddy. I'm knocking wood for that.
Appreciate
Uh,
it.
thank you again, David Quadrelli. You are simple to find. You're most active on Twitter, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So you're
absolutely where I'm at.
Quadrelli D on Twitter. If you
Yep.
care, you can check out David on Instagram at quads at the rink.
Yep.
Okay, buddy. Well, we'll see you online, and thanks again for doing this. Have a great day, bud.